It's Saturday, December 20th, and we're about to see the beginning of a roller coaster weather pattern right before Christmas. In this next coming couple of days, we're going to see it get kind of cold again, probably starting tonight, and then really start to warm up as we go into Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then the couple of days following after that. But right now, we don't have any severe weather expected today, so luckily we can skip right past that and go just kind of to a broad forecast to pretty much the entirety of the country. And we're really only looking at a couple of areas for some precipitation today. And there's actually not going to be much snow. So it looks like a lot of this is going to be rain. First and foremost, we're going to start off in our kind of atmospheric river, which is going on over here out west, specifically California and the Pacific Northwest. Right now, we have a pretty strong ridge or high pressure system kind of in the southern Pacific near Southern California. And then we have a low pressure system a little bit west and north of the Pacific Northwest. And what this is doing, the low pressure system is rotating counterclockwise. The high pressure system is rotating clockwise. And this is kind of taking the wind like this. And this is creating almost a river perfectly with just a bunch of flow onshore and just a lot of precipitation, which is going to persist pretty much for the next little bit. We're actually going to see quite a bit of precip fall out near the San Francisco area today, even down into the Severe, Nevada. Just east of San Francisco, we're actually going to see a lot of snowfall today. Then up here in the Pacific Northwest, of course, we're going to still be seeing quite a bit of rainfall. Now, another area which I think we can expect to see a lot of precipitation today is going to be the Midwest Great Lakes, even moving in to parts of the Northeast. We're going to have a low pressure system rotating up here in just a area of increased flow. This is going to kind of force up a lot more moisture. And then this is also going to be along a cold front as well. As we move later in today, we could see a couple of little showers blossom up along this cold front as well. Will this be really strong precipitation? Probably not. It looks like it's just going to be some cooler rain. Then, of course, some cooler air is going to come behind this. And then also, we are going to have just a lot going on kind of in the Colorado Plateau and Plains area behind this. We're going to have a couple of ridges and a couple of embedded low pressure systems as well. And this is also kind of with our atmospheric weather, just a lot of westerly flow along this region. You can actually kind of see the pretty big ridge here where we have a lot of clockwise flow. This is just going to bring quite a bit of potential like rainstorms to the area, and these will probably bring some snow to the Rockies. Now we're going to take a really good look at that roller coaster weather pattern that I mentioned in the intro. This morning, it's actually going to be pretty chilly. Our freeze line is going to move as far southeastern as kind of the Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee borderline right here. And then pretty much anywhere north of this, you're going to be seeing freezing only in the far northern United States. So we're talking North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota. Are we going to see those feels like temperatures nearing a -20? But everywhere else is probably just going to be regular freezing within that 32 to probably around 15 degrees margin. I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of areas in the single digits, at least in the regular elevation. So maybe in the upper elevations in the northern Rockies, we could see a couple of that, but that's going to be pretty rare. As we go into the day, we're actually going to see a very nice warm up in parts of Texas, even pretty much the entire state, even encasing a lot of Oklahoma. We could see temperatures up into the upper 60s, 70s, and in the far south, including Florida, desert Southwest, probably even a couple of areas in California and most of Texas can be 80. So here is our little warm up. Then as we go into the night, a cold front, that cold front that we talked about bringing some precip is going to dig in a little bit. We can see that kind of happening right here. You can actually see a pretty sharp line almost exactly where this cold front is, which is going to bring some cooler air south. Pretty much if you're anywhere north of this amended freezing line, that's now going to be where you're going to be able to see some of your freezing temperatures. This is of course going to be at night. As we go into the day though, we can see that those cooler temperatures are actually going to linger a bit. We can see that we're still seeing really warm temperatures, not the same degree as we were going to today, but tomorrow we're still going to see a decent bit of warm temperatures in the south, but it stays way cooler around the Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee northern border lines. And then this little cooler bit is probably going to last the next couple of days before it starts to get really, really warm again as we get close to Christmas. Their first hint of this is going to be a big, big warm up in the plains, reaching as far south as South Dakota potentially. We could see probably mid 60s feels like temperatures, and this trend is only going to increase, encasing just more and more of the US as a big ridge starts to build over. This is Christmas Eve, and by Christmas we could potentially be seeing feels like temperatures as far north as Chicago, maybe even, which could be nearing the mid 60s. And then our freezing line is going to move all the way up here. These are really warm temperatures for this time of year, so this is definitely something that's crazy to see, especially a roller coaster kind of temperature weather pattern like this. And the last thing I want to touch on today is going to be some areas that are going to be quite a bit more windy than others. We're not really having a bunch of crazy big troughing activity going on in the US at the moment. We just have this big low pressure center, a cold front, which is kind of illustrated here, and then loads of westerly flow across the country. Of course, that is going to be at the higher elevations, but this is what the winds are going to look like at the surface. Of course, up here in the Midwest, it's going to be pretty windy today because we have that low pressure system likely sustained around that 15 to 20 mile an hour range. Then, of course, on the Great Lakes, super duper windy. In front of this cold front, probably around midday, it looks like we're going to have sustained 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, but that dying off as we go later in today as that cool front kind of starts to stall and lose steam. Now, we are going to have a couple of little features out here like a high pressure system and then some little short waves closer to the surface. We can see a couple of kinks where we could probably in the southern to central plains and even up here potentially these little blotches also which are being interacted with high pressure systems in parts of the Rockies. Those are all areas which I think we could see 15 to 20 mile an hour sustained winds also. But as we go later into the day, we're going to start to see that big ridge that we were talking about, which is going to bring those warmer temperatures kind of dig in. And that is going to calm the winds down quite a bit, with really the only area experiencing some much windier weather is going to be more out west. With out east, it's looking like it's going to be pretty chill tomorrow wind wise.